Hey everybody, it is Arrows Gaming here, coming to you with a bit of a treat. A little bit of a continuation last night from our stream, our card corners with Arrows last night, where we talked about the Inteleon VMAX League Battle deck. If you guys were here yesterday, you saw that we opened up the Inteleon League VMAX Battle Arena deck on stream, and we talked about some of the cards in it, and when we talked about some of the cards you could put into it in the real life. And we also talked about we also played a couple games on Pokemon TCGO, and we showed you what the deck was capable of. If you want to go and check out those videos, I will link them in the description below. But we're gonna spice it up again today for you guys. We're gonna add a little bit of spice to our Inteleon VMAX flavor. And we are going to, we traded for a couple Dene GXs today, and we're going to build a more competitive Inteleon VMAX deck for you guys here today. So sit down, buckle your seatbelts, and let's go build a spicy Inteleon VMAX deck. Let's do this, you guys. Alrighty, so let's just unmute this because... Alrighty, so we're going to be building an Inteleon VMAX deck. You guys saw what Inteleon is capable of last night when we streamed. We played 3 games online with it, and we won all 3. This deck is capable of doing some serious damage and making some really strong plays. Now, right now, like I said last night, the deck's biggest glaring flaw is this lightning weakness, because Pikachu Zekrom is a deck. Pikachu Zekrom is a hella good deck that can pretty much one-shot knock everything out in this deck with very minimal investment and set itself up in the process. However, Pikachu Zekrom is not going to be a thing come September. If you guys are unfamiliar with the Pokemon trading card game, every fall, the Pokemon Company does what is called a set rotation. And what that does is they rotate X number of sets out of the format. So the current format we're in right now is the Team Up to... What's the newest set? Battle Styles. Team Up, Sun and Moon Team Up to Sword and Shield Battle Styles. And that includes the little subsets like Hidden Fates, Champion's Path, Shining Fates, and all that good stuff in between. Certain promos are counted in this. However, come this September, the format is shifting to a strictly Sword and Shield on format. So a lot of really strong decks are leaving the game right now. Fire loses everything. Fire decks are going to be, in my opinion, and keep in mind, this is my opinion, I'm not a professional card scientist player, but in my opinion, fire decks are done. Without access to Welder and Fire Crystal and all of that delicious fire tech they've gotten in the Sun and Moon era, fire decks are not going to be playable. They're not going to have the speed that's going to be required to keep up with a lot of the decks that get to keep their support. The same thing with electric. Losing Pikachu Zekrom is like brutal for that deck. Like, yes, you could still have Vikavolt V variants that will trainer lock you, and eventually we're going to get a Regieleki V and VMAX potentially, and that could be really good too. And yes, there is Zeraora, but a lot of that core lightning goodness comes from stuff that's in the Sun and Moon format, like Pikachu Zekrom, Raichu, tag teams. You're gonna lose electromagnetic radar to search for stuff. Like they're losing quite a bit of good cards, and I don't think electric is going to see a lot of play until we get another big hitter. And yes, you could see some Vikavolt decks, and there are EVs coming out, but I think as a whole, the format is probably going to shift to Eternatus, Shadow Calyrex, and the Urshifus. And I think Inteleon can really find its place in there because the deck can be incredibly consistent and it doesn't have the worst matchups against those 3 decks. So we've got our 2-2 Inteleon Vs and VMAXs. Now, again, if I had extras of these on PTCGO, I would 100% be running 3-3. But I don't, so we're going to add in some spice with the Inteleon line from Sword and Shield. Now, this Inteleon line is amazing. The Inteleon and the Drizzile are super good. Shady Dealings on the Drizzile. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may search your deck for a trainer card, reveal it, and put it in your hand. Shuffle your deck. Really good. And then the Inteleon's version of Shady Dealings. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 trainer cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. Really good stuff. Being able to search your deck for any trainer cards you want is never a bad thing. And even though they are on a stage 1 and stage 2, we are going to be running cards that will enable us to recycle those effects repeatedly. We can't forget about our good friend Sobble either. Now, we're going to stick with the 70 HP Sobble because there are a lot of cards in this game that do damage to the bench. Our Inteleon VMAX is actually one of them. Inteleon VMAX for 2 water and a colorless. Max bullet does 160 to the active Pokemon, which is fantastic. And it also does 60 more damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So if we're coming up against stuff that does stuff like that, the 70 HP Sobble is our Sobble of choice because we'll live through one of those 60 damage bench attacks with 10 HP, or there are other Pokemon that do like 40 damage or 30 damage. We'll be able to live through a couple of the 30 damage attacks, and we'll be able to live through one of the 40 damages a lot better than with the 60 HP Sobble. Now we need cards to increase our consistency even more, and for that we're going to look to our drawing Pokemon. The Dedenne GX is a really good card. The Dedenne charge, for just playing it on your bench, you can discard your hand and draw 6 cards. This is really good. This is like a good card in general. It's not as effective here because we might not always want to discard our hand, whereas decks like Charizard, we're always ready to drop Leons in the discard pile. Mad Party loves putting Mad Party Pokemon in the discard pile, so Dedenne works really well for them. But it's still drawing cards, and we want to be able to get into our stuff a lot quicker. So that's why we're also going to run 1 Crobat V. Again, Crobat V is like in the Inteleons. If I had another one, I would be running more than 1. Crobat V is a little bit different than the Dedenne. When you play this card from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may draw cards. You have 6. So you can play cards out of your hand, and you can either drop the Dedenne and discard what you have left and draw 6 new cards all the time, or you can play Crobat, keep what you have left over in your hand, and just add on a bit more cards to keep your hand very consistent. There are other options you could use if you don't have Crobats or Dedennes. Jirachi will kind of help you out a little bit. The Jirachi in question is this one. Stellar Wish. Once during your turn before you attack, if this Pokemon is in your active spot, you may look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal a trainer card you find there, put it into your hand, then shuffle other cards back into your deck. This is a solid option if you don't have the access to Crobats or Dedennes, because this card has been reprinted quite a few times. There are reprints of it in the Pikachu and Zekrom League Battle deck, and there are reprints of it in the Zacian V League Battle deck. Whereas the Dedennes only had like the 1 reprint, and Crobat has only had 1 reprint as well. Although Crobat is getting another reprint in August in the Trainer Toolkit number 2. If you guys are interested in playing Pokemon at any level, I would 100% going and picking up Trainer Toolkit 2. And if you can, find Trainer Toolkit 1, because a lot of those cards are really good too, and they will still see play in Extended, and not all competitive Pokemon TCG events will be standard. I know a lot of regionals do run events that are extended as well as standard. So it's always good to keep these older cards because you might still be able to find use for them. And the last thing we are going to add is just something to help us even out some damage. And that is a Galarian Zigzagoon. And we're going to put in 2 of them. We're only going to run 2. Galarian Zigzagoon. No, you know what? We're going to run 2. We're going to run 2. Galarian Zigzagoon is a really good card. When you put it on from your hand onto your bench, you can put a damage counter on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Now, keeping in mind, too, that you're also going to be doing 60 damage with Inteleon VMAX. Or if you get off to a really good start, you'll be doing 40 somewhere else with Inteleon V. Galarian Zigzagoon helps you really keep ahead of your opponent in terms of damage, which is really good. And then we need one more thing to even this all out, and that is our support. We are going to be running this with Snom and Frostmoth from Sword and Shield. So we're going to go 2 Snom and 2 of the Frostmoth. Now this Frostmoth is really freaking good. What it does is Ice Dance. As often as you like during your turn, you may attach a water energy card from your hand to one of your benched water Pokemon. This is an amazing card and will let you keep putting out active attackers. We can attack with the Inteleon, the one from Sword and Shield, if we need to. And we're going to be playing cards that will help us recycle our Vs and VMAXs if they get knocked out. So being able to put them back on the bench and being able to drop energy on them right away is always a good thing. So we're sitting at 19 Pokemon for this, and I think it's a solid list. This line might not stay here near the end. It's all going to depend on what we get. If we were to drop these, I might go with some Jirachis. Just, I don't know. But I like this line, and I think this line will serve us really good. And like I said, again, all I could think of that I would change on the main Pokemon line, and if I had more of them, I would put in an extra Inteleon V and an extra Inteleon VMAX, just because they're so very good. And if you guys want to look at some of the other stuff I thought about putting in, just check out the stream from last night. I did a whole thing where we searched TCG Player and Pokebeach, wherein we showed you a lot of really good cards that you can add to this deck to make it a lot better going forward. Alrighty, now let's hop into our trainer cards. And when I build a deck, I always go with supporters first. Because the supporters are going to be what generates you the bulk of your advantage 90% of the time. Supporters can only be played once per turn, and their effects usually include drawing cards, searching for specific cards, or in the case of boss's orders, switching your opponent's bench Pokemon with the active Pokemon. Now this is really good to have because you can use it to knock out your opponent's setup Pokemon so they don't get set up on you before you can get set up on them. You can use it to pull up threats that aren't ready to attack yet and take them out early. It's just a really good, really versatile card. As is the other card we're going to add in, and that is Marnie. Marnie is, in my opinion, one of the best hand shuffle disruption cards we have seen in a long time. Yes, N will forever be a beast, but N, depending on where your game state is, could be detrimental to you and not as beneficial. Whereas Marnie is always beneficial for you for 2 reasons. One of which, your opponent shuffles their hand and puts it on the bottom of their deck. So right away, they're not shuffling the good cards from their hand back into their deck to be able to draw them again. They're putting them on the bottom of their deck, shuffled up, and then they're drawing from the top. So right away, you're not taking the risk of them getting one of those really good cards they put back right away. Like, yes, they still have the chance to do it if they have multiple copies of it, but you're decreasing that chance by guaranteeing that one of those good cards are on the bottom of their deck. And they always draw 4 cards and you always draw 5, which is really good. And like I said in the past, could be a little detrimental to you if you were behind, if you were ahead on prizes, you'd be dropping less cards. You'd have less cards, and that could be a little bit of a hindrance. But Marnie is fantastic. Marnie is probably one of the best supporter cards we have in the format right now. We're going to run 3 Professor's Research because, again, we're not always wanting to discard our hand. But being able to draw 7 new cards is always a good play, even if we don't always want to get rid of our hand. And we're going to be testing 1 Nessa. And Nessa is really good in this deck. Put up to 4 in any combination of water Pokemon and water energies from your discard pile to your hand. This is another way that we can recycle our Inteleon V and VMAXs, or our Inteleon line if they get knocked out before we can really get good amounts of playability out of them. So, looking through supporters, I don't think we're going to be running anything else. You could run like other like techie stuff if you want. Again, I haven't been buying a lot of cards because of the current lockdown in my area. So it's stores that are open still are only open to buy essentials. And let's be honest, it's really hard to get Pokemon cards in general because people are crazy. So another card we could run is Misty's Determination. I have seen some people running it in various decks. It could work for us here. Discard a card from your hand. If you do, look at the top 8 cards of your deck and put one of them into your hand. Really good card, but it is a card that is being rotated in the fall, I believe. So we'll stay away from it for now. And then we're going to get into our items, supporters, and tools. Sorry, items, stadiums, and tools. And we're going to start all the way back at the beginning with Air Balloon. Now, we're only going to run like 1 or 2 Air Balloons. Air Balloon is a really good card. It reduces the retreat cost of the Pokemon it's attached to by 2. So our Inteleons will retreat for free, but more importantly, our Frostmoths will retreat for free. If a lot of people will try to take out your Frostmoths or put them in the active spot, so that you have to waste attachments to get them out, Air Balloon will let us get around that and retreat them for free. Most item cards in decks are going to be the same. There's very little variance between the different decks unless you're playing like something that is like type specific, like Capricious Bucket. Search your deck for up to 2 water energy cards, reveal them, put them in your hand, then shuffle your deck. This is real good. We are definitely going to run 3 of them. I don't think we need 4. I think 3 will provide us with the consistency we need to always have one and let us not be overclogged with them. So that's always good. And we're also going to have Nessa too, which is also going to help us keep a continuous stream of cards going. Another card I mentioned last night on the stream that you could run in here if you wanted to as well, we're not in this first build, is Energy Switch. Move a basic energy from one of your Pokemon to another one of your Pokemon. Frostmoth only attaches to the bench water. So if you want to run anything that doesn't have water, that isn't water, but is like colorless and can benefit from Frostmoth's ability, you're going to have to do some shenanigans to get those energies onto that Pokemon. And Energy Switch is a good way of doing that. And also let you put the energies you attach to your bench onto your active Pokemon if you need to. We're playing with evolutions. We're playing with a lot of evolutions. So we are 100% going to be running 3 evolution incense. Let you search your deck for an evolution, reveal it, and put it in your hand. This card is hella good. When EV Heroes comes out, we might run Vigor Shake over it because that lets us evolve right away. Yes, we lose our turn, but if we're playing Vigor Shake on the opening turn, it doesn't matter because we can't attack anyway or play supporters. So we're okay with losing our turn. This is the debate where I'm having now between Great Ball or Level Ball. Great Ball is more generically good, even if there's a chance that I could not get a Pokemon. So I think for the purpose of initial testing, we are going to run 3 Great Balls and see how that goes. However, we are also going to talk about the Level Ball option as well. Level Ball is really good. We talked about it last night on the stream. Search your deck for a Pokemon with 90 HP or less, reveal it and put it into your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. In this deck, we are playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Pokemon that have 90 HP or less, which means level ball is always going to be able to get you something, but it will not get you your Inteleon Vs and VMAXs or your draw Pokemon. So it's give or take. We'll try Great Ball to start, and then maybe we'll cycle it out for level balls and see how that works as we go on in the games. So we also are going to run one Ordinary Rod. This card is really good. Choose one or both, so you can either do either of the effects or both of the effects. Shuffle up to 2 Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck. Shuffle up to 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile into your deck. We have ways to get both of those after they're back in our decks. So definitely going to test it in one. Again, it's one of those things we could run more. We'll have to wait and see when we get a couple test games in. And then I think the last thing on our list is going to be Quick Ball. Quick Ball is probably one of the best generic searcher cards we have right now. You can play this card if you discard another card from your hand, search your deck for a basic Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So we're going to run 3 of these. And then we are going to, I think that's everything. Oh, no, I lied. And then we're also going to play 3 Scoop Up Nets. We're running Scoop Up Net for one reason and one reason only. It is really freaking good. So when you use this, you can put a Pokemon that isn't a V or a GX into your hand. So what that's going to do is it's going to let us reuse our Zigzagoons for more damage. It's going to let us reuse our Inteleon line for more searching. So ideally, if we had 2 Sobbles on the field, one of them wasn't evolved, or one of them had already become a Drizzile and we made one an Inteleon, we could bounce that Inteleon back to our hands with Pokemon with Scoop Up Net, play the Sobble again, have another Drizzile for next turn, and then use that Inteleon we just got back to our hand to evolve our other Drizzile and get more cards. Very good for consistency. We can also use it if we need to pick up a damaged Frostmoth to keep our opponent from knocking them out. And I don't think we're going to run anything else. We could run some switches, but we are running the Scoop Up Nets. We could play, oh yes, we're going to try a couple Turbo Patches. This is a really good card too. Flip a coin. If heads, attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to one of your basic Pokemon that isn't a GX. So right off the bat, we can play this to attach to our Inteleons before we make them VMAXs and keep that steady stream of attackers going. We're going to give it a try. It might not always be live, and we might not always get the effect, but when we do, it's going to be really, really good. So we'll just run them in 3s. Other options you could use is Vitality Band. This will let you do 10 extra damage, which is good for numbers. You could try, where is it? You could try Training Court to keep your energies cycling, but that will work for your opponent too. Switches, again, we talked about, could be used. Big Charms to increase your HP. You could try Rose Tower, but again, keep in mind that that is also something that your opponent's going to get to use as well. It'll just let you keep cycling through cards. We can't play them here because they're banned, but Reset Stamp is also a really good card to look into, especially in the late game. If you're behind in prizes, your opponent shuffles their hand into their deck and draws a card for each remaining prize card. If your opponent's gained a lot of resources early game, you can use this to drop them down to 5 or 6, depending on where the game state is. Or late game, you can use it to keep them to 1 or 2 cards if they've taken quite a bit of prizes. I don't think there's anything else we could really get a use out of here. Pokemon Catcher is in the same boat as Turbo Patch. Let's show you. Pokemon Catcher is in the same boat as Turbo Patch. It's a really good effect, but you need to flip heads on it. It's another option if you want. Let's see. You could run another old rod if you wanted to. Ordinary rod, sorry. Memory capsule, not overly. We already talked about the level ball. Great catcher's not going to be good come the fall because we're going to be out of GXs. No, I can't think of anything else that I have that we could do this. Obviously, there are probably other cards out there from like sets that I don't have. You could run escape rope to get Pokemon out of the active spot. Each player switches their active Pokemon with one of their bench Pokemon. Your opponent switches first. It could be good. It doesn't give you the ability to choose what you're gonna switch out like boss's orders or even a Pokemon catcher does, but it's still a solid card. And we're gonna go with this energy because I think it looks the coolest. And then we're gonna finish off our list with 10 water energy. So this is what we have so far for our rough draft of Inteleon VMAX. This is what I think we're gonna work with. We are gonna play a couple games with it as well, just to get a feel for the deck. Again, like I said, some changes that I would make right off the bat if I had them would be a second Crobat, a Inteleon V and VMAX, another one of each. And yeah, that's really it. And we could experiment with level balls over great balls. But yeah, this is what we have. This is what I don't mind it. I think this is going to be a pretty solid work for us. The Inteleon line is something you can mess around with. You don't have to run it. I know some builds don't, but I just think it's really good. Come the fall, we'll have to drop the Dedenes for something else, but we could even do that with we could even throw in a Lapras V for a backup attacker, or maybe a Keldeo V as a backup attacker over the Dedenes. And yeah, maybe an Eldegoss V to recycle some supporters. But I think that's going to be good. So what we're okay. First coin flip. We lost it. Of course we did. All right, so they're gonna go first, which could work for us. Not with this, it's not. Okay, so our only Pokemon is Snom. That's not the best we could have hoped for. We're gonna see what we can do. Not the best start, but he's playing Jirachi. That doesn't really tell us what he's playing. Jirachi's always a good lead if you're running it because you can play it, and pretty much almost every deck runs Jirachi. Ooh, yes, please Marnie me. That'd be fantastic. Oh, no, he didn't. Okay, so what do I want to do here? Okay, so we're going to play this, and we're going to discard this. And we're going to get this. And we're going to play it. We're going to attach there. And then we're going to Marnie. This is a good play for us. Yes, we're going to lose options of getting our Inteleon, but they have a lot of cards that they could potentially do some stuff to us next turn. This will keep us ahead of the game, hopefully. Oh, great ball. Beautiful. That'll help us out for next turn. And then we will end our turn there. Dropping him to 4 cards without him really playing something could help us out immensely here, because it might make him use this Jirachi again without really being able to do anything else. What is he playing? Professor's research. What is he playing? This is bad though, because we're still like a couple turns in and we don't know what our opponent is playing, so we'll see what we can do. We shall see what we can do. Okay, so he's playing the Rapid Strike Urshifu. Okay. I feel like we might have given him more help there than we wanted to. Oh, yeah. Okay. So what do we do from this point on? Gonna strafe, bring out the Jirachi. Okay. So what do we do with this? We're gonna evolve that. Yes. And we're gonna use that. We're going to grab a capricious bucket. No. We're not gonna grab a bucket. We're gonna grab that. And we're gonna do this. We're gonna take a risk here. We're gonna evolve that. We're going to Ice Dance onto this. Onto this. We're going to do this, and we're going to grab our Crobat. I mean, we could have gone for Dedenne there as well, theoretically, but... we're not going to play that right away, because we don't want to, but we are going to keep that. Then we're going to scoop up net, this, and we're going to put up that. Then we're going to drop this, and they're going to scoop and give us the game. Wow, we're not winning any coin flips. Getting a air balloon would have been very helpful there, but the Frostmoth was damaged, so actually scoop up netting it off the field was the better play. Okay, so this isn't terrible, actually. I can do a lot with this. I can do a lot with this, especially if I go second. If I go second, I can do a lot with this. No, we're not going to start another Pokemon. Okay. And what is he playing? Is he playing the Fun Mankey variant, or the Fun Primate variant, or no? Okay, he's playing the Single Strike. So this is arguably, people will tell you, the best deck in the format right now, or one of them. So let's see what we can do against it. Oof, that's a good setup. Okay, that's terrifying. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this first. We're going to grab a Snom. We're going to play the Snom. We're going to quick ball away the bucket and get an Inteleon. Play that. We're going to attach that there. And we're going to do this. I don't want to have to get rid of the Drizzile, but it is what it is. I need to... beautiful. Get that out of there. We're not going to play the Marnie, but we're going to retreat. Shoot. We're dead. We've lost. Okay, so what can we do from here? So we're gonna pop the Sobble and back into the active. I'm gonna evolve it into Draziel. Yes. We're going to search our deck for a Quick Ball. And we're going to Quick Ball. Oh no, the other one's prized. Okay, this poses a bit of a problem. Okay, so this poses a bit of a conundrum because the other Inteleon is prized, which means we're not doing anything with it. He's gonna G-Max. He's gonna Dynamax. No, he's not. Oh, he's aiming for the Dynamax. If he gets the Dynamax, we are in a bit of trouble. The VMAX, we're in a bit of trouble. Yeah, we're in a bit of trouble, you guys. Okay. Okay, so here's where we are. In a lot of pain. In a lot of pain. I need a Frostmoth like nobody's business. If I can get a Frostmoth, we could potentially put ourselves back into a good position here. We are going to lose this Draziel, which does suck, but it is what it is. I'm not going to lie, you guys. Not having that other Inteleon in deck, and this is why I suggested running 3 and 3 if you have it, because yeah, we're in a heap of trouble now because we had to waste a turn because our other Inteleon was prized. Okay. I was really hoping we could have gotten the other Inteleon out of that. Can he kill me? Yes. Yes, he can. Yes, he can. And that's the game. Yeah. It took us way too long to get set up there. And we just... Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and ding the notification button when you want to be alerted to any new Pokemon TCG videos coming out or any of our other video content for you. And as always, friends, I will see you when I see you, and have yourselves a great day.